Hi everyone, this is Dr. Nitin Choda with an important episode of Ignition Time. In a brand new announcement in an interview with CNBC, U.S Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin said that the Republican pandemic relief plan will extend enhanced unemployment insurance based on approximately 70% wage replacement, and the Republicans hope to release their pandemic relief plan as soon as Thursday, and then they'll negotiate a final bill with the Democrats.
Good. Well, good morning, and it's good to be with you. Let me just be clear on the president's priority in the bill. And as you know, this is a negotiation, so we need both Republicans and Democrats' support, but we are on the same page with the Republicans. We've had very good meetings over the last few days. The president's priority is about kids and jobs. We need to be able to get kids back to school safely. The Democrats had $100 billion in their HEROES Act. We've increased that to $105 billion. Some of that money will be dependent on schools reopening and money used so that it can safely reopen. If schools and jobs are going to open, we need to make sure we don't have frivolous lawsuits. And I think, as you know, we have the enhanced unemployment insurance that's expiring next week. So that's a priority. We need to respond to that. As we've said before, we're not going to continue it in its current form because we're not going to pay people more money to stay at home than work. But we want to make sure that the people that are out there that can't find jobs do get a reasonable wage replacement. So it will be based on approximately 70% wage replacement. And we're also going to have a lot of tax credits to incentivize companies to hire people. And then finally, just let me say, you know, there's a lot of bipartisan support for extending the PPP. I've had conversations with Cardin and Rubio, and we want to have second checks for companies whose revenues are down 50% or more and need more money, small businesses, to get people back to work.
When Mnuchin was specifically asked about payments directly to Americans and the payroll tax cut, this is what he had to say. He kept open the possibility of a CARES Act 5 after this CARES Act 4.
We hear again and again and again about that there's remaining residual tension between the White House and the president and Senate Republicans on the payroll tax provisions, tax cuts. Where is that?
Let me be clear. We think the payroll tax cut is a very good pro-growth policy, but the president's focus is he wants to get money into people's pockets now because we need to reopen the economy. One of the issues I think you know about the payroll tax cut is people get that money over time. So the president's preference is to make sure that we send out direct payments quickly so that in August people get more money. There's no question this worked before. Retail sales was up year over year, 1%. People went out and spent that money in small businesses, and that's having a big impact in the economy. So as I said, it's all about getting money now for kids and jobs.
Okay. Sounds like then it's not going to be in the bill.
It won't be in the base bill, but again, as we roll out new things, and again, this is CARES 4.0, okay. There could be CARES 5.0.
Okay. There's news, I guess, that came out separately from what, some of the things you were talking about. Now, is Mitch McConnell on board with this, or are there really a handful of bills, as you were just alluding to, I guess, maybe a 4, 5, and 6 or something? Is that the way it's going to progress?
Well, the process is there are individual bills for all these different programs. Mark Meadows and I were working late last night with Mitch and his staff, and we'll actually be speaking to them as soon as I get off the show this morning. So we just need to make sure we see all the final agreements and the final language. Mark and I met with the appropriators last night and reached an agreement on the appropriators numbers. But as you know, there's a lot of text that goes back and forth.
Thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned something new. If you would like to get breaking news and alerts from me, please text the word ignition, or you can text the word time if it's easier for you, because my channel is Ignition Time. So again, text the word ignition or text the word time to 70,000, that's 70000, and you'll get breaking news and alerts from me, and you can unsubscribe at any time. Thank you so much for watching. If you learned something new, please click like below. Please click subscribe so that you get notifications, and please enable the notifications icon so you get instant updates from me about important alerts like this going forward. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.